Have you ever wondered what the first Sony Handycam looked like? Well, we got one right here, and we're checking it out today. Hey there, welcome back to my camera collection. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the Sony CCD-M8u. We'll be going over some of the specs on this guy, and then we'll go around and look at the physical features of it. And unfortunately, I don't have a way to turn this camera on and test it for video footage, so we won't be looking at any test footage of it today. But I will leave a card up above if you want to check out some other channels that have video footage of this. That being said, let's get into today's video. So yes, the Sony CCD-M8u is the world's first, well, it's Sony's first Handycam. I believe it is the first camcorder to take 8mm cassette tapes, or Video 8. All their cameras before were the old beta movie style cameras, so they're the big VHS ones, but they took a little bit of a different VHS looking tape. They're slightly smaller than a regular VHS tape. So this was the new improved handheld camcorder called the Sony Handycam. Debuted in 1985. This one is actually from 1985. I believe they only made them from 1985 to 1986. And the way that you can tell on these, if you're looking for one on eBay, is there will be a little sticker and it says 5C there. So that means that it was made in the third quarter of 1985. You might find ones that say 6 and then have A, B, C, or D. So that was made in 1986 in the first, second, third, or fourth quarter, depending on what letter you have. So I originally got this to test it out because I wanted to, I've seen a few of these online and I was like, man, those things look really cool. And then I kind of did a little bit of research on it and I did find out that yes, it is the first Handycam that Sony made. And man, this thing is basic as it comes. Like, you'd be better off getting a more professional options from a Sony beta movie camcorder. This thing is super basic. What's actually really cool about it though is the whole outer body of it is actually aluminum. So it's actually got some weight to it. It's pretty heavy. Actually comes apart in two pieces. I'll show you that later. I'm not exactly sure why they had it do that. I don't know if there were some other accessories that you could hook up to it to watch it on your TV or what. A very interesting camera. Now there's not a whole lot of specs on this guy, like features and capabilities of what it can do, because this thing is just, it's super basic. So I'm not really going to go over any specs. We'll just go over the physical features and you'll kind of see why there's not really any specs on it. When I bought it, I was assuming that you could find batteries or power supplies for it. There's a lot of cameras out there, or camera battery companies that make old batteries and stuff. So I wasn't too worried about finding a battery or anything for this. Well, turns out that's not true. It's a pain in the ass to find a battery for it or a power supply. Looking around on eBay, if you want a power supply or a battery, you gotta buy the camera with it. I highly doubt that any of the batteries still work, but you can still hook up a power supply into the battery slot right there and power it that way. I wasn't really wanting to buy another camera just to see if this one works. It makes for a cool prop though. I don't know, maybe I'll keep it and I'll put it over here for you to oogle at while I'm yapping my mouth to you. I'm honestly very surprised on how clean this thing is. Like, this thing is in mint condition. Like, I don't see any scratches on it anywhere. The foam on the microphone here is still intact. Like, it's not flaking or anything. So I generally think that this thing was just stored away in a dry place, like a carrying case or something, because I know camcorders back then were notorious for having carrying cases with them. I mean, this thing is just beautiful. It's just in mint condition, and I really wish I had a power supply to get it to work, because it's in such great condition, and I guarantee that it works just looking at the cosmetic state of it. So enough of me rambling about that. Let's look at the physical features of it and show you how basic this little guy is. So starting off at the front, you don't have any form of a lens thread on it, so you can't put any kind of filters or anything like that on it. Man, look how tiny the lens is on this. I mean, it's itty bitty in there. It does have this little lens hood you can slide up in front of it for when you store it away. That way you don't scratch the lens or get it dirty and whatnot. And it slides back down like that. Feels very 80s to me, that's for sure. Another thing I forgot to mention is this, I think it's one of the first camcorders to use a CCD sensor in it. A lot of the older ones use Satacone tubes. Like if you watched my 10 iconic camcorders of all time video, the JVC GRC1 uses a Satacone video tube. So this is the first, one of the first that has a CCD in it. The battery actually slides into the front right there, and it's actually a pretty big battery that goes in there. Along with that, you have, well, obviously the microphone, but it's also, you can unplug it right there. And you do that because you can take this apart, put it back in once you put it all back together. And then the microphone actually slides forward. You're supposed to push it forward when you record, and then when you're done recording, you slide it back. I don't know if that engages the mic to like be on, or if it just slightly gets the mic closer to your subject. Coming around on the left side, you have your focus and your white balance options. Now, what's interesting about this is it doesn't have any form of autofocus. It has manual focus only, and you got 3 settings. You got near, mid, and far. Going all the way to the top on it is near, going to the middle is mid, all the way to the bottom is far. I don't know what the actual distance is for all of those, so you pretty much just gotta judge distance for it. So yeah, you're kind of guessing on it, because looking through the viewfinder, you don't know if it's in focus or not. And I'll show you why here in a minute. White balance, you got 2 options. You got indoor and you got outdoor. Indoors on top, outdoors on the bottom. Those are all the controls on the side there. Little label right here that says push, so when you do actually eject the tape, you push it there to lock it once the tape has gone down and was in place to be recording. Now on the back is where it's a little interesting. So you have this little diagram right here. Pretty much the big square in the middle is indicating your viewfinder, and then there's these little white dots up on top and the bottom. You got 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and they have these different labels. So those indicate lights that turn on in the viewfinder. So depending if it's if the top left one turns on, it's telling you that you're in an indoor setting, and I think you have to turn the white balance to indoor. And then the top right, if you have a light that comes on in the top right of the viewfinder, that is your standby. And then bottom left and bottom right is your tape run and your battery, and low light. So if you are in too low of light, it will let you know that, hey, I can't see anything, and your video footage is gonna look terrible. And then you also have some other lights that indicate tape run and battery, standby, do, and caution, pretty much letting you know that those are indicated in the viewfinder. Along the bottom here is your eject switch, so that is how you eject the tape. And then along the back side here, you obviously got your record button. It's very old looking in my opinion. And then you have this little switch right here that says grip release. So what that does is it all comes apart like this. It's in 2 pieces like so. Why they made it like this, I have no idea, but I assume you might have been able to hook this up to a docking station, sort of speak, and be able to watch your video footage from that to your TV. Or they just made it so it's more compactable for storing in a storage case or storage box, whatever these came in. The way that the little lights indicate in the viewfinder is there's these little lights that are right here, and those will light up and show into those little holes there, indicating where they will show up on the viewfinder, if that makes sense. But then you also have some other little prongs that are down here and hook up to the bottom. I don't know if those contact points to make the like record button and stuff work. And then one last little feature is your battery release switch here. So you can eject your battery to charge it and whatnot. Those are pretty much all the physical features of it. You might notice that there's no zoom rocker or anything like that, and yes, this camera does not zoom at all, so it has a fixed lens on it, and that's all you get. And along with the viewfinder, it is not a digital viewfinder, it's optical. So kind of like your DSLR viewfinders, how you can just look through it, say like when the camera's off. You can still see images. This one's the same way. So you can actually see where the viewfinder looks out of right here, and then you can actually see right right through there. Actually, you might be able to see my face right there. This thing is very basic. So yeah, this thing has no way of being able to rewatch your footage on the camera. From what I know, there's not a way to hook it up to your TV and watch your footage that way, because there's no audio video out anywhere. So I think you had to put the 8mm tape into like a VCR of some sorts and be able to watch on your TV that way. The viewfinder is optical, not digital. It has no way of zooming, and the manual controls are as basic as they come. I mean, at least you get a little bit of focus and white balance settings on it. But I mean, it was the first Sony Handycam of the time. They had to have a starting point somewhere, you know. So not the best starting point, but obviously it was the first step into the great world of Sony Handycams. Sony has made some beautiful Handycams out there in the world. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this little camera. If you feel like sticking around for me to plug myself, go ahead, but if not, go ahead and leave this video. If you want to keep up with me elsewhere rather than YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram at Brandino. I have started a Discord page, or channel, I don't know exactly what you call them, for the camcorder community. Pretty much it's for people to just talk about camcorders, be able to ask questions about camcorders, you know, where to find batteries, yada yada. Everybody can, you know, help each other out and mingle over there. I also have a section for being able to ask questions on how to troubleshoot, fix problems, and all that kind of stuff. And also you can post your camera setups if you want. You know, if you got yourself a brand new, well, not brand new, you got yourself a Sony VX1000 and you got it with a Century Optics Mark I fisheye, and you want to show the world what it looks like and show the community, you can post your pictures of your new beloved skate filming camera. Or if you got yourself a $10,000 cinema setup, you can post it over there as well and share your camera setups with everybody, because I just think that's fun. So if you feel like joining that, I'll leave a link in the description for that Discord page. I'm still trying to figure out how Discord works, so if it's not happiest looking place ever, I'm still trying to work on it and figure it out. If you're looking for a new camcorder or something to add to your new collection, I have some camcorders for sale over on my eBay store. I got a couple Canon GL2s over there. This guy will be for sale on my eBay store. I recently did a video on the Sharp VL E34. That's for sale up over there as well, and I got some other camera parts for sale as well. Everything is offer based, so you can, if you feel like my price is too high, feel free to shoot me a offer and I will most likely accept your offer, as long as it's not ridiculous and you're offering me $1 for a camera. I'll leave a link to my eBay page below as well. And last but not least, I want to thank everybody for 900 subscribers. I didn't think we would ever get to this point. I didn't think this channel would actually take off that fast. And yes, 900 isn't like a huge number, but it's the biggest number I've ever had on YouTube. I want to see if we can get to 1,000 subscribers by December 31st of this year. It's been kind of a milestone I wanted to hit before the end of 2022. If you are new to this channel and you stumbled across this, hopefully you subscribe so we can hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, because that is a great milestone I've always wanted to get to, and I'm so close to it. So about 100 subscribers away. That's all I wanted to say about plugging myself. So yeah, this guy will be for sale on my eBay store if you want to pick it up for yourself. Obviously, it's just going to be the camera. And one last thing before I go. If you have any suggestions on what cameras I should check out next, leave me a comment in the comments section and I will hopefully consider checking them out. Doesn't matter if it's new, old, anywhere in between. Just let me know what you want to see on the channel. And on that note, we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.